Hey guys, and welcome back to Men Don't Talk. I have a guest here today, Tom Montalbano, and we have something to say.
Politics.
Interesting, right?
You know,
Very
hot
interesting
topic
subject.
As always.
Yeah, tell me about this. What is
so
this
there's
balloon
this
thing?
balloon that came across, I guess it came from the Pacific or through Canada. It's a Chinese balloon, supposedly they saw it flying over Montana.
Now, how big is this thing?
The balloon is about the size of 3 buses.
Wow. Okay.
3 school buses.
Okay.
Okay, it's about 50,000.
How do you lose something like that?
Well, 50,000 feet in the air. It's flying higher than commercial aircraft normally fly. So it's up there. And it was flying over Montana, where we have a lot of nuclear warhead installations.
Okay.
Okay. And supposedly the president said he wanted to shoot it down, but then the Pentagon told him no.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to excuse me.
Because of this or that. And so they let that balloon.
How's that possible? Listen, we already went through that with 9/11, didn't we?
Yeah.
So how is it possible anything can fly over in our airspace, especially over something nuclear,
Right.
and we don't shoot it down?
We don't know. Well, they didn't know what it was. Supposedly, their fears were that it could have been something biological. It could have been shot down. It could have landed in some kind of populated area, put citizens at risk.
So what happened to it?
But they let it fly over the entire country, and they shot it down off the coast of North Carolina in the Atlantic Ocean.
Okay.
So that balloon flew 4,000 miles over American airspace and taking pictures and whatever it was. We don't know.
Well, if we shot it down, we didn't go pick up the balloon to find out
Absolutely.
what was connected to the balloon.
Right. Yes, and it seems like in the paper today, President Xi Jinping, who is China's president, is now saying that they have the right now to retaliate in some way. What way that is, we don't know. But he's claiming that it was mostly for meteorological research. Well, I don't know what you say. Mostly doesn't mean all.
Right.
So what is the other part of the mostly?
Okay.
What was it doing with that?
Going back to that. Now, think about this. We already said that there's rules to this whole thing.
Right.
And now this balloon actually coming into our airspace,
Right.
we have the right to shoot anything down.
Absolutely.
As well as we flew over their airspace.
Absolutely.
So you're not making sense to me here.
Exactly.
I think there's some kind of test that's going on. They're testing us.
Yes.
Because I'm going to go back to, this is the things that we're dealing with today with the type of president we have today.
Yeah.
A very, very weak president.
Yeah.
You know, and if anybody that supports this guy, I don't get it. I really, really don't get it. You know, make me understand what the we're following this guy.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense. This guy has allowed things happen to this country that no other country has ever we have allowed to do. So I don't get it.
Well,
I really just don't get it.
It's funny to me with this balloon.
Confuses me.
So the president of China is saying that it was a civilian balloon. Okay. So if it's your balloon and it's a civilian balloon, I'm sure you're tracking it, right?
Absolutely.
You're seeing that it's flying over an adversary, not enemy, an adversary, a
Absolutely.
competitor,
Yes.
if you will, America.
Yes. Okay.
You don't give a call. Hey, Joey boy, listen, one of our civilian balloons we were doing for weather research is going to hit your airspace. Wanted to give you a heads up.
Right.
Nothing. We didn't hear none of that.
Yes.
The only time you heard him respond is after we shoot it down. Now he's mad, right?
Wow.
And I believe it could be some kind of test of our defense response,
That's right.
our willingness to do certain things. If there's anything is possible, this president has shown time and again that he is weak. Mentally, he is not all there. I think that a lot of people are controlling what he's doing for their own agenda. I feel that it's sending a bad message in Afghanistan, Iran, China, Russia. All our enemies are looking at us like, what's going on over there? They're letting a balloon fly over their country for thousands of miles, taking pictures and stuff with no response.
Right.
You know, and what could be next?
Well,
you know,
I think, like, again, China wants to be the top dog.
Yeah.
You know, and we're actually allowing it the direction we're going in.
Everything that we're doing.
Everything they do is by a test. So I don't think they're doing anything for nothing.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very interesting down the road what's going to go on. People better wake up and see what's really going on.
Well, yeah, and I see too that in articles I've read that the Chinese government is donating money to our school systems. For what purpose? For wokeism? To undermine our values? Or who knows what it is? Why would a foreign country care about our educational system? Obviously, there's some kind of agenda there. And our reliance on China for goods and everything else. I know when Trump was president, he was trying to work towards something with our technology. Because if we let China take over everything, we can't make anything in this country. Our jobs will all be going there. unfortunately, with a communist government, they can control wages and things like that, where there's no labor union.
Exactly.
They could pay their citizens $1 an hour or $1 a month, whatever it is, and there's no recourse. Here, of course, we have unions and minimum wage, so everything would be more expensive. But we do not do any. There's no checks and balances with China. True. With this guy, with his son's connection to a country, to China, with the oil, and his connection to Burisma over in Ukraine, it sends a lot of mixed signals of what this president's allegiances are and what his connections are to these foreign governments. Because, like you said, with China, that could be a test. Okay, we got a balloon to fly over there. Let's get a plane to fly over there next.
Well, again,
who knows what's next?
Too many people are lining their pockets when you're paid for.
Yeah.
And you owe somebody. When you're paid and you owe somebody, there's nothing you can do. You got to go along with the program.
Yeah, pretty much. You don't want, China is a very touchy thing, like the NBA. The
Yes.
NBA is very in bed with China.
Exactly.
You never hear their athletes say anything negative about China. LeBron
James.
very outspoken when it comes to stuff around here, but when China's torturing, going to threaten Taiwan or whatever they're doing over there, you don't say a word.
Because that's a game changer. That's a game changer. That's a game changer.
That's his money.
Yes.
Okay? Even movies. You had a movie coming out that with John Cena. He said something about Taiwan, and he had to apologize to China, and he did it in their language, in Mandarin. Like, what American citizen would do that? Well, the movie company probably said, listen, you're going to cost us millions of dollars. You better apologize, because a lot of our money comes from China and watching movies. So it's all about the money. There's nothing about anything else. And when it comes to our enemies like this balloon thing, our government, it's very, very disheartening to see how things have progressed. And a lot of people, a lot of Democrats were like, they applauded this move by letting it, waiting for it to save American lives. They didn't kill anybody. That's why we didn't blow it up. But meanwhile, the governor of Montana says you could have blown that thing up. We have millions of acres of empty space. It wouldn't have hurt anything.
Exactly.
You could have done it then. You didn't have to wait for it to go fly over Chicago.
Well, it goes back to what we were saying before. If you can weaken the men, then think about what you're doing there.
Well, you also
it's a big move.
Top.
It's a very big move.
If your leader appears weak, you're going to be weak.
I don't think he appears weak at all. I think he is weak, to be honest with you. And I think it says a clear message to any other country. Right now is the best time to really with the United States.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's just a matter of time before China does something with Taiwan. That's going to put us in a spot. Russia's already doing it already. $100 billion and counting getting sent over there for no guarantees. And that whole thing with that, too, is that if you don't support it, you're somehow a Putin lover and a Russian supporter. Not to the contrary. Russia has been our adversary my entire life.
Absolutely.
But what are we going to gain if Ukraine beats Russia? What are we going to win from that?
Exactly.
Took $200 billion of our money to go there for what?
Exactly.
Okay, we did this in the 80s with Afghanistan. We funded Afghanistan to beat the Russians. That we weakened them, but didn't eliminate them because now they're back.
Again, guys, you better wake up, because even the news, you're not getting the real news. So you better be able to, I always tell my kids, be open, do your own research. Don't listen to everything that you see on the news.
Yeah.
It's very confusing, and it makes you think one thing is totally something different than what you see.
The media, too. I mean, I'm not saying one is better than the other, but you have to do a lot. I get it from other sources, not just one, and makes you think. Like the possibility, I question it, even if it's coming from a biased source. But what is the end game? What are we doing? Like this Ukraine. Okay, so we're funding this, we're helping them. What are we going to get? Let's just say next year the Russians lose.
Right.
Well, Ukraine wins. Okay, great. Ukraine, $300 billion of our money went over to Ukraine. What do we get out of that? We got a free country. Ukraine wins. Exactly. Russia's still going to be Russia.
You heard what you said. What do we get out of it?
What do we get out of it? It's like an investment.
No, what you should have said, what the individuals get out of that.
Yes, that's what I think it will be. It'll be individuals, because then what will happen? We'll have to help them rebuild Ukraine.
Exactly.
And that'll be, like
we've done
construction.
Like we've done to what other country?
Right. We did it with, Afghanistan, we didn't help them. No. But when we bombed Japan, we rebuilt with Japan.
Exactly.
All right. Well, we have helped rebuild Germany, obviously, after World War II as well. And what do we get out of that? Well, we have relations with them, but with this Ukraine, it's like all this money is being spent. And what are the individuals going to get? Who knows? Right. Like you said, with Iraq, we had Halliburton. They were making money from that war. Like, what will happen? What particular company that's friends with the president are going to get to go over there and help rebuild stuff?
True.
Right? That's what's going to happen. True. You're going to get your friends of the president going to be like, oh, you can go and fix all that. We'll give you $4 billion. Good. Fix the roads and the bridges on our dime. But while you make a hefty profit, and that's frightening to me.
Well, again, back to where we started, but this balloon thing is just nothing but a test. It's another test to see how weak we really are and how we're going to respond to what they say.
Yeah.
You know, but America, we're going to say it again. You better wake up and look at what's going on. This is Huff from Men Don't Talk. Have a good one.